National Day of Prayer. November 3rd. I ain't got here my names in, honey. I'm going to have to give you this here microphone.
It's on November the 3rd at 6:30 Main Street in Tazewell, the Altizer Stage. Everybody please come out. Let's pray for the community, not Republican, not Democrat. Let's pray for the community and for the nation.
November 3rd. That's right. We don't gather in the name of Republican or Democrat. We gather in the name of Jesus. If I'm right about it, somebody give the Lord a hand clap of praise. And you need to hear this. It's not the elephant or the donkey that's going to save this country. It's the Lamb. And that's who we need to be looking to in this hour. If I'm right about it, if you know the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords is still the God of America. He's still the God we cling to. The God we trust in. He's still on the throne and it can't be voted out. He cannot be dismissed. You can't impeach him. You can't dismiss him. You can't rule him out. I'm telling somebody, he's high and lifted up. I got chill bumps all over me, and God woke me up at 3 in the morning and told me something that he's never told me. I've never heard anybody say this, so I know it came from God. He woke me up this morning and he said, don't preach like you're putting out a fire. Preach like you're starting one this morning. That's what he told me. And some of you may know what that means, but if you putting out a fire, man, y'all know how I preach. If you're putting out a fire, you hurry. You know what I'm saying? But if you're starting a fire, you take your time to make sure you get everything laid right so the fire burns. So if I don't preach like I normally do today, it's because I'm feeling that instruction from the Lord. And before I preach, I'm just so glad to see my nephew straight out of the Air Force getting ready to go to Fort Bragg. Austin, God bless you, man. Give Austin a hand clap. I love you, man. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Genesis 35. Genesis chapter 35, verses 1 through 3. I just need you to give me the next few moments in time. Let God focus you in upon what I believe he's called us to say and to hear today. Because I believe God wants to speak to you. I believe God wants to minister to you. I believe God wants to call you back to a place of peace, a place of safety. Genesis 35, beginning of verse 1. And God said unto Jacob, arise and go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of thy brother Esau. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. Let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar. Everybody say altar. I will make there an altar unto God who answered me in the day of my distress and was with me in the way which I went. He said, God met me at his house. And he's been with me in the good times and in the bad times. And he's brought me this far. If that's your testimony, give him a hand clap of praise. God wants to meet somebody at the house this morning. And I'm going to preach a little while from the subject of if the altar could talk. I saw a picture of John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert. And then somebody took the picture through the window. And they were sitting there talking like brothers do, like me and John would talk. And there's things brothers talk about that ain't nobody's business. And you couldn't help but wonder, I wonder what they were saying behind that window. I wonder what the conversation between John F. Kennedy and Robert was really about. Were they talking about the politics? Were they talking about memories of when they grew up? Were they talking about Marilyn Monroe? Nobody knows. Because those walls can't talk. Many times you go to a place where something powerful, something historical happened, Josh, and you'll think, oh, if these walls can talk. Have you ever stayed in a grimy hotel? And thank God the walls couldn't talk. You know, you get in some places and you think, if this house can talk, what stories would it tell? One of the great things about going home is when you get home and sit in that house and you begin to look at rooms, you got certain memories and the things that happened in that room, and you think, oh, if my house could talk, it would tell you the time at 3 o'clock in the morning I was was sick as a baby, and my mom and dad would get up with me, and they would, how many of y'all used to get to croup when y'all were little? And I'd get the croup real bad all the time. And they'd have to run that steam. And Dad, I remember him praying for me one time. I was about 4 years of age and I couldn't breathe. And back when I was coming up, you didn't go to the ER every time you got sick. They would just boil some hot water and stick your head over it. There's a few times Mama will scorch my nostrils. But every time I go in the house, every time I go to Mama's house, I have memories of things that happened there. Things that, some of the things I want you to know about, some of the things I wouldn't. Oh, I guess everything that's happened in your house has always been good. God bless you. You're Jesus' first cousin. Pray for me at the end of the service. But I began to think about me and Dad were sitting in Kentucky last Sunday, and they began to sing an old-time song about if the altar could talk. And as they began to sing that song, the Spirit of God moved upon me. And I looked over at my dad and I said, Dad, that would make a great sermon. What would happen if the altar could talk? What would your altar say about God and His faithfulness to you if it could talk of the times you were down and nobody could be there for you and God was there for you? What if the altar could testify about how good God Almighty has been to you? I begin to think about it. This altar right here, this church had a voice. The glory it could give God of the burdens that God has removed to this altar, of the yokes that He has destroyed, of the sins that He has forgiven, of the bodies that He has healed, of the marriages that He has kept back together, of the people He's kept from taking their own life. I wish I had about 50 people that realize there's power at an altar. I was talking about the altar on Periscope, and one guy, he chimed in. You know, you always got people that chime in. And he chimed in and he said, the altar could talk. It would say, nobody lets me in the church anymore. Talking about the altar, I was thinking, boy, you don't come to my church. Because of this church, man, I'm just telling you, I still got old time in me. And I believe every time we open them doors, somebody has something that they can dump off at this altar. Somebody has something they need God to deal with at this altar. And I know it's homecoming and you all look pretty, but I got a sneaking suspicion that somebody has something they need God to move upon. And the testimony of the altar is there's nobody that He'll turn away. There's nobody that He'll reject. The altar wasn't built for the upper echelon. The altar wasn't built for the elite. The altar was for all. In the Bible times, and I know some of my contemporary preacher friends will have a problem with this message because it seems so old-timey, but I'm not worried about seeming cool today. I'm worried about somebody getting the help they need. I'm worried about somebody getting that thing broke off their life that tries to rule them day in and day out. The altar in the time of the Bible was a place where man could meet with God. It was a separate place where man would put everything else behind him and say, God, me and you need to talk. God, I need to talk to you. And I believe I'm preaching to some people today that deep down you say, me and God, we need to have a conversation because I've got things going on in my life that I can't tell anybody else. I've got battles going on inside of me that I don't know how to get rid of. I've got things going on in my kids' lives and in my family that I can't fix on my own. That's why the altar was there, where you can meet God, where He can do what you could not do. The altar was a powerful place in the Bible. God met Abraham at the altar, and He was there. He would give him a vision for his life. That altar is that place in modern times where I get alone and it's just me and God. And at the altar, A-L-T-A-R, God begins to alter my life. But what I found out is when I don't get to the altar with God, life begins to alter, A-L-T-E-R me. And I felt like the Lord wanted me to tell somebody today, the reason your life has been altered by the world is because you neglected your altar with God. And I ain't preaching old time, I ain't preaching mean to nobody, because I know what it's like to get so busy with the work of the Lord that you neglect your time with the Lord and the Word. I know what it's like to be so busy wondering what I can preach to you and how I can help you that I neglect my time where He helps me. And I don't care how good a chef you are, if you cook for everybody else and you never eat, you will die. There are so many people in life today that you wonder why you feel like you're running on fumes and you're running on empty. It's because the altar is that place where God revisits us. The altar is that place where God reignites that initial vision that He put in their life. And I believe the reason many people lose their vision for God and their vision for life is they have forsaken the altar. Jesus said if you pray in secret, you will be rewarded openly. There is a place for every man, woman, boy, and girl. You ought to have a personal altar. You ought to have a place where you and God meet, where you shut the doors on your finances, on your bank account, on your screaming kids, and you just get along with God and say, God, I need you to help me. Am I talking to anybody? I promise you, if you develop an altar, it will alter your life. Your marriage will go better. Your job will go better. Your mind will go better if you have an altar. If you have an altar, you are giving God an invitation to alter your life, to move upon your needs, to move upon your worries, your cares, and your concerns. In the Bible, God started at an altar. He used it with Abraham. It was passed on down to Isaac. And then we find a boy by the name of Jacob. And he's on the run for his life. He's in trouble. Now, I may be preaching to some people today that feel like you're in trouble. Maybe you feel like your life is catching up to you. Your mistakes are about ready to overtake you. The enemy seems like he's round about you. Have you ever felt like the enemy was about ready to come in like a flood and you wonder what you're going to do? Jacob had made some mistakes. And friend, the beauty of this book is it's full of people like you and me that have made mistakes, that have messed up, but yet they can find a place in God. As I preach to you today, I wonder how many voices have told you God has no room for you. I wonder how many mistakes blare out at you and tell you God don't want to hear from you anymore. Jacob was as messed up as anybody could be. His father rejected him. His brother wanted to kill him. He's weary because of all the mistakes of his life. And he runs to a certain place and he didn't realize that God was going to move in this certain place. It was my prayer today that God would bring some Jacobs to the house. Some people that came just because they thought they were invited or just wanted to check it out, but they didn't realize that God was going to do something for their life in this certain place today. Jacob got so tired that he laid his head upon a rock. I ain't got no rock up here, but I got a speaker. And can you imagine being so tired that you turn this speaker into your pillow? You got to hear me now. When I sleep at night, I sleep with 5 pillows. I mean, I got to have pillows all around me. I look like the Michelin Man when I go to sleep at night. I got pillows everywhere. I got them tucked between my knees, under my arms, under my head, or one I can squeeze because Carlene says the squeeze are too tight. So I got pillows everywhere. And if you took my pillows away, you'd take my sleep away. But when you get tired enough, you look at a rock and you lay your head on it. Say, I'm so tired, that'll do. You're a tired somebody. I believe I'm preaching to some people today that are so tired of life, so tired of the stress and the struggle. You would love to be able to tell somebody just what you're really going through, but you don't know where to go. You'd love to be able to open your heart to somebody and you say, I'm tired, preacher. I talk to people now more than ever that just say, I'm tired, I'm wore out, I got nothing left. Jacob was so tired he laid his head on the rock. My prayer is this today, that you came in here so tired of your life that you lay your head on the rock, Christ Jesus, that you say, I can't figure it out, but I'm going to give it to God. I can't fix my family, but I'm going to give it to God. Lean not into your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Get it out of your head and into the hands of Jesus, and He can fix it. See, life will wear you out. Don't let the worst enemy you have live between your ears. And so many times the worst enemy we face is not something out there, but it's the worries, the lies, and the stresses that we keep residing between our ears. It's the past that we won't let go of. It's the pain that we can't lay down. You got to get a place to lay your head on Jesus. Did you know out of all 12 disciples, the only one that died a natural death was John the Apostle? John the Revelator. Why? Because every time you read of John, he's laying his head on Jesus' breast. I mean, you think it looks weird. You think it would look weird if I rolled up to Mikey or Bobby, just put my head on their breast? I would think it looked weird. And the Bible made special notice that every time, there would be certain times John would just lay his head on Jesus' breast. Notice all the other apostles died by death and by martyrdom. But John lived to be an old man. And I believe the revelation in that is this. If you want to live looking at me right now. I'm trying to lay a foundation. Jacob, running for his life, lays his hand on this rock. But when he laid his hand on the rock and went to sleep, he began to dream. I found out that when you quit worrying about everything and you have an altar with God, he'll cause you to dream again. He'll cause you to quit seeing all the bad, and he'll show you a better day. Some of you in your spirit, God's been showing you that blessed day you've been believing for in your family. That blessed day that your mistakes tell you you can't have, and your finances tell you you can't have. But when you get along with God, he has a way of showing you a better day. God never shows you a bad day. He always shows you a better day. I'm going to say that again. God never shows you a bad day. He always shows you a better day. That's the power of an altar, because it gives you a vision. And without a vision, the people perish. If the enemy and life and worry can keep me away from my altar, my vision in Christ will begin to diminish. My faith will begin to dissipate. I'll begin to run on fumes. I'll begin to run out of gas. This morning I was trying to find Grayson's car for her and put some money in it because I was afraid she was on empty. And I wanted my baby at home coming this morning, and she has a tendency to run on fumes like her daddy does. And so many times what happens with God's people is we're running on fumes. We don't have the energy we used to have. We don't have the faith we used to have. We don't have the spunk that we used to have. And it could be because we've not refueled at the altar. I'm trying to help somebody. But Jacob, when he laid his head on that rock, the Bible said that he had a dream, and he saw a ladder going up into heaven. Angels were ascending and angels were descending. Not angels descending and then ascending, but ascending and descending. He said he found a place where it would go on up into the heaven and bring it back down into the earth. See, the enemy wants you to be so bogged down with your life that you never get a heavenly vision. But the beauty of the house of God is no matter what I'm fighting down here, when I'm worshiping, I can get up out of where God's at, get my answer from heaven, and come back down into my world and turn it around. Is there anybody that knows what I'm talking? I need something to go up because I need something to come down. If I were the enemy, I'd do everything I could too to keep you so beat down that you never peered up into heaven, that you never got in the presence of God and said, God, what do I do with my life? What do I do with my pain? Jacob awaked out of that place and he said, surely God was in this place, and I knew it not. My friend, I'm thankful for the person beside of you. I'm thankful for this awesome praise team. But more thankful than anything, I'm thankful that as we sit here today, God is in this place. And it's my prayer that before you leave here, you know it, and you know that he is for you and not against you. Somebody give him a hand clap of praise this morning. I'm trying to build fire. Jacob awaked out of that place, and he said this. He said these words, and they captivated me. He said, all right, because God told him, I'll bless you. I know you messed up. I know you made mistakes, but I'll be good to you. I'll help you, and I'll bring you through. First time in Jacob's life, somebody said, regardless of how messed up you are, I'm going to make something out of you. That's the power of God. And I'm just going to tell somebody today that regardless of how many mistakes you made, how many people don't like you, God can make something out of your life. God can take a zero and turn him into a hero. But Jacob's answer to the promise of God still astounds me, because Jacob did like we do, if we'll be honest. Jacob woke up out of that sleep and he said, if you'll do that, I'll serve you. So many times that's our answer to God. We say, now if you do this, I'll do that. If you do this, I'll do that. If you do this, I'll do that. So many people come to God with an if. God, if you bring me out, I'll praise you. Can I tell you, powerful people are not the ones that wait till they get to the other side to give God the praise. They praise God before Jericho falls. They praise God before Jordan opens. They praise God while the Red Sea is closed. I just come to tell somebody, don't wait till he gets you over. Go ahead and praise him right now. I dare you to praise him in your pain. I dare you to praise him in your struggle. I'm trying, Lord, not to preach like I'm putting out a fire. But I feel something on the inside of me. You've got to get it. See the process that Jacob went through is a process you can go through and I go through. Jacob went to if you do it, so he began to get connected to God because he had done it. And many of you, that's where you're at on your relationship with God. You've seen God do stuff to you. You come to church because he has been good to you. Because he did answer prayers at the altar. Because he was there for you when nobody else was there. And you're here today because he's been good to you. If that's you, let me hear from you right now. But can I tell you that a worshiper is somebody that says, God, I'm not going to say I'll do it if. They're not somebody that says, I'm just going to praise you because of everything you've done. God is raising up a remnant of people that have a nevertheless spirit. That say, Lord, though I can't see no help coming nowhere, nevertheless I'll praise you. I don't understand, nevertheless I'll be at the house of God. Don't feel like being here, but I'm coming anyway. Don't feel like lifting my hands, but I'll give you the praise. That's the kind of worship that makes heaven and earth. Come on, I dare you for the next 10 seconds to give God a nevertheless. A nevertheless kind of praise. Jacob got up out of that place, and God said, I'm going to go with you in the good times and the bad. I was raised under the tutelage of the Pentecostal gospel. And I am a tongue-talking, pew-walking, Bible-packing, devil-smacking child, and most like that. Don't ever get it twisted. When I was raised up, God was with you on the good day, but he dropped you on the bad day. And I found out, according to this book, in my life, that my God was so awesome, he was with me on the bad day. He was with me when I was praising him, and he was with me when I was acting crazy. He was with me when I was at the altar, and he was with me when I was contemplating suicide. If God was with you in the dark time, I dare you to give him a praise this morning. Jacob, now we come to Genesis 35, and we find that Jacob, his family's messed up. His daughter has been defiled. His brother, his sons have committed murder. Now, you talk about a mess, that's a mess. God put this story in here so you know no matter how messed up it seems to you, you ain't so messed up that an altar can't alter your life. I mean, I can't imagine if somebody had defiled Grayson and Jacob had killed that person and was on the run from the law. That's a bad situation. And you would think it's over now, it's so messed up now. And God begins to speak. He says, Jacob, come home. All this is around you, but if you can come home, I'll take care of it. Home's the one place you ought to be able to go when people not drive you crazy. Home's the one place you ought to be able to walk around in your PJs or without a shirt on or however you want to walk, because it's your home. He said, Jacob, if you come home, I can take care of it. I'm preaching to somebody today, and God is saying, if you can come home, I can take care of it. No matter how bad it is, no matter how nasty it is. What was an altar? And Jacob said, I got to get home to it. And he said, now, when I go back to Bethel this time, God told me not to just go to church, not to just go to the house of God. He told me to build an altar. See, a move of God will get you to the house, but an altar with the Lord will keep you in the house. And Jacob goes back and he said, I'm going to build an altar to my God, to the God that's been good to me, even when we didn't deserve it, even when we didn't earn it. What is an altar? An altar is a place of salvation. An altar is a place where you find out that God can save you no matter what you've done. I know this makes people nervous. That's why I love saying it. There's nothing you've done in Adam that's greater than what God did in Christ. There's no contamination in your blood that's greater than the blood of Jesus. He still forgives every sin, every shame, every guilt, and every stain. Now you've got people that believes he's the God, good old boy. But I know some of y'all. Y'all good old boys now, but y'all wasn't always good old boys. The old-fashioned gospel makes people realize that no matter how many mistakes they make, no matter how many times they've blown it, no matter how bad, that there's a place where God washes away every sin and every shame, where God gives them a place to dump that guilt and that condemnation. It's not only a place of salvation, it's a place of surrender. See, some of you, God is just waiting for you to give up so he can take over. There was a guy, and I've told this story before, and I'll tell it again because it's a real good story. There was this guy, and he was drowning, and his friends saw him drowning. He's at a place like Hungry Mother's Park. And his friends saw him drowning. They looked at the lifeguard, and they said, jump in and get him. And he went down one time. The lifeguard just started taking his whistle off. He went down again. They said, my God, man, he's going to drown. Go get him. And he went down for the third time. And everybody knows that after you went down 3 times, you don't come up. Lifeguard waited until he went down the third time, waited a second, jumped in the water, snatched him out, resuscitated, got the water out of his lungs, and he come up conscious. And then, after his friend saw he was alive, he went over to the lifeguard and he shook the lifeguard and he said, "Why'd you wait till he went down the third time?" Lifeguard knocked her arm off and he said, "You don't understand. If I would have jumped in any sooner, he would have had enough strength to drown us both." Somebody's going to hear me right now. See, God is waiting for you to come to the end of yourself that you've been trying to fix it, and you let God be God. And that way when it gets done, ain't nobody going to get the praise but him. The altar's a place where I throw up my hands and say, "I surrender. I can't do it, God, but you can." See, some of you are stressed out today because you refuse to surrender. You refuse to let go. You think you can still fix it. And God's just waiting like the lifeguard, waiting for you to come to the end of you so that you can tap into the beginning of him. And at the altar, I can't tell you how many times I've had to surrender something to God. Something I was worried about, and I'd worry about it, and I'd worry about it. And I've always felt that when I give it to God, he has a way of taking care of it. The altar is not just a place of salvation and surrender, it's also a place of sacrifice. Because there's sometimes in your walk with God, it's easy to give up bad stuff you don't want there. But every now and then to go up higher in God, you're going to have to sacrifice some things you don't want to let go of. Can't get no help now. Every now and then God's going to say, "I know you like it, Abraham, but Ishmael got to go. I know it's comfortable for you, but it's holding you back from being everything that I've called you to be, and you got to cut ties with it so that you can go further." And if you've ever had to sacrifice something you didn't want to give up for God, can I hear from you right now? Is there any old time people that's ever had to lay something down at the altar with tears streaming down their face, saying, "God, I don't understand it, but I'm giving it to you. I promise you this, anything you give up for God, he said, I'll reward you 100 times more in this life. He won't ask you for nothing that he ain't going to give you better for." Y'all seen the picture? I got to get this picture of Jesus talking to that little girl. She's got that little beat up teddy bear. And Jesus is on his knees talking to her. And he's saying, "Give it to me." Because behind his back, he's got a huge brand new teddy bear. But the little girl's like, "I don't want to give it up." She don't understand. And in our childishness, many times we don't understand. If God's asking us to give something up, it's because he's got something better right around the corner. Somebody give him a praise. He ain't a mean God. He's a good, good Father. And anything you give up for him. All right, I'm trying. The altar is a place of separation. The altar is a place that reminds me that I'm not who I used to be. You ain't gonna believe this, but every now and then, when Barry's got to come to the altar, let God remind him, "Hey, you're the preacher, you can't act crazy." The altar is a place that reminds me that I got to come to a higher standard. That if my life is going to do what God's called it to do, that there's sometimes I have to just separate myself from everything and say, "God, I need you to help me. I need you to strengthen me. I need you to move forward." The altar is also a place of safety. In the Bible, in the cities of refuge that this church was founded on, when somebody had killed somebody, made a bad mistake, if they made it to the city of refuge, the Bible said they grabbed the horns of the altar because the blood of the sacrifice was on the horns of the altar. No matter how messed up they were, they would grab the horns of that altar and they would say, "Mercy, mercy, mercy." And because they were grabbing a hold of the horns of the altar, the elders of the congregation would come down. They would shut the door on the city and refuse to let their past come in and destroy them. When I come to the altar, I'm still saying, "Mercy, mercy, mercy." And if you come looking for mercy, God will give it to you. Somebody give him praise in here. He'll give you safety and sanctuary from the mistakes of your yesterday. But not only is it a place of salvation, surrender, sacrifice, separation, safety, the altar is a place of secrets. The altar is a place where I can talk to God about stuff that I can't talk to you. The altar is a place where I can hear the Bible said it in this version, Psalms 91, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High." We all need a place where we can tell our secrets. We all need a place where we can tell him about what's really going on in our life. And I began to think about if the altar could testify. If this altar could testify, it would tell you of the people that sit in this church that have been healed. If my personal altar could testify, it would tell you of the season I went through where Carlene went through a car wreck and her neck was broke. Mom's lungs were filled with sarcoid and Mama Pauline had breast cancer again. Jake had been in a four-wheeler accident and his neck was broken and they said he would never play football. I sat there with him in the doctor's office as he began to cry because they told him he would never get a play. And Grayson was fighting battle after battle after battle. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. Everywhere I looked in my life, it seemed like trouble. It seemed like I couldn't find nobody to talk to. It seemed like I couldn't get no help nowhere. And I got in my truck and I began to ride down the road and I began to scream. And I began to cry and tears were streaming down my face. And I tried to be a man's man. But I was breaking. I was breaking under the load that I was under. And as I began to weep and I began to cry, the Spirit of God spoke to me. And He said, you're crying like somebody that has no God. At the moment He said that, I quit crying and I started praising. I want to tell you, God healed my boy. God healed my wife. God healed my mama. God healed my mama. God healed my Grayson. Hey, I want somebody to know. Oh, you want to give God a praise? If my altar could talk. If my altar could talk, you'd leave here with faith. But out of all the things my altar would tell you, there's one thing it wouldn't. As Charlie begins to play, the one thing my altar would never give up is my secrets. Because what I give, what's spoken between me and God, is more concealed than that conversation between Robert and John F. Kennedy. We'll never know what they said. There's things I've said to God that no man will ever know. There's burdens He's lifted from me that I can't preach about. So sometimes when you see me raising my hands, I'm not raising them for the stuff you know He did in my life. Every now and then I got to give God praise for that stuff He did for me that I can't tell nobody. Have you ever had God do something that you can't even tell nobody about, but you just give Him the praise? Have you ever had Him forgive a sin or make a way or touch a family member and you can't tell nobody, but you can say hallelujah? You can't put it on the internet, but you can say praise you, Jesus. You can't tweet about it and you can't put it on Facebook, but you can come to church and say, God, I thank you that you fixed that thing I couldn't fix. One thing your altar will never tell is your secrets. The world loves secrets. The world loves to know who done it, why you did it, how you did it. God said, I provided a secret place where you can give to me your secrets. I believe God's calling some people back to the altar today. There was a young man raised up in the Midwest, Bible Belt. His daddy was a preacher. His mama was a good woman. This was many years ago. Prayed and believed God for him. He got it in his heart that he wanted the things of the world, didn't want this God they preached about, didn't want this gospel, didn't want that lifestyle. He went over into Asia. He got involved in the sex trade, the sex slave trade. He got involved in the drug trade. He got involved in so many evil and wretched things that his conscience was breaking under the weight of it. And for years, he ran from God. He ran from God. He didn't contact his parents. And after years of pain and mistakes, shame had so gripped him. And he knew his mom and dad were getting older and he wanted to see them. But he thought, there ain't no way I can come home. But he wanted a place. He wanted a place to drop his burdens. And one night in Singapore, I believe it was, in all that sin, all those evil things he did, he just hit his knees and he said, God, the God that my mom told me about, the God that my dad preached about, God forgive me. The Spirit of God swept over him, Josh, and changed him right there. But he still didn't know if his mom and dad would want anything to do with him. So he wrote him a letter. He came back to America, and he wrote him a letter. He was taking a train ride home. And what he remembered was that the train tracks were right by his mom and dad's house to the station. And he wrote them a letter, and he said, Mom, Dad, I love you. I've made mistakes, and I've done terrible things. And he began to tell them the things he had done. And he said, if you don't want me back and you don't want me to come and see you, I completely understand. He said, but I believe that tree, those trees are still out in the backyard. He said, Mom, all you got to do if you want me to come back, because I'm going to be driving by there, is hang a white towel up in the tree. And if I see a white towel hanging up in that tree, I'll know you want me to come home. If nothing's in the tree, I'll know I just need to keep going. I'll get to the station, I'll go somewhere else. Well, he's on the train, his nerves are getting the best of him. He's saying, what will I do? How will I emotionally handle it if Mom and Dad don't want me to come home? What will I do? And he began to tell the passenger beside of him what was going on, because he knew that in about a mile they'll be passing his Mom and Dad's house. And he ducked his head and he said, Sir, I can't look. I can't look. He said, could you look for me right up around the bend and tell me if there's any white towel or anything hanging on the tree anywhere? The train began to go around. He kept his head down. The man looked out the window and he said, do you see anything? Do you see a towel or a sheet or anything white hanging from a tree? He said, I don't see one. The man's heart dropped. He said, there's about 50 of them hanging on every tree you can see. Oh, I'm telling you, the Father, He's throwing a sign out to you, saying, come on, come on, come on. Stand to your feet, everybody. It's time to come home. Spirit of the living God, saturate this place with your presence, with your power, with your glory. God, I believe you called somebody to come home. And over all the things their altar could say, I thank you that it'll never give up their darkest sin, their deepest struggle, their toughest secret. God is speaking to people right now, even children of God, that need to come back to the altar. You need God to help you in this thing called life. I know God is moving. I got chill bumps all over me right now. If that's you, I need you to step out of your seat right now and come to this altar. This homecoming is going to mean something if you make it. If you need to come, I want you to come. Give them a hand clap right now. Let them know they're coming home. The white sheet of mercy is hanging up. The white sheet of mercy is hanging up. Others, come on. Come on. It's saying, come home, come home, come home. Others, I'm going to wait on you because I know God is just tugging right now. Tugging in this place. Tugging on the hearts of men and women. Come home. Come home. Children of God that are struggling, come home. People that life has pushed you away from the altar, come home. People that don't know where to turn, come home. People that have burdens they can't carry anymore, come home. People that need to surrender something to the Lord, come home. People that need some help in their body, come home. It's time to come home this homecoming. It's time to say, I'm leaving this homecoming with things squared out, lined out. God's on my side and I'm going to be okay. Others, I'm going to wait on you. I'm going to wait on you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I feel the Spirit of the Lord telling me there's some young people that need to drop some burdens today. God's ordained this service for you. You ain't got to tell your friends, you ain't got to tell your neighbors, but God wants to take care of your secret problem today. I dare you to step out of your seat and come. Give them a hand clap and let them know it's safe to come. I know I got some people need to come right now. Come on, come on, come on. Hallelujah, hallelujah. With every head bowed, every eye closed, those that need to come, just keep coming. But if you're in here and you don't know Jesus, you may feel like that boy that couldn't look up. And you're wondering if the house of God has a place for you. God says, come home. Come home. Come home. If you're in here and you're not saved, or you need to rededicate your life to the Lord, would you lift that hand where I can see it right now? I'm looking for you. If there's somebody that says, that's me, I need to come home. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you as they sing and as they worship. If the Spirit of God draws you up here, please come. It's time to come home.